competitions. He has been close to 100% pick or banned, but there is the carry. Varus coming in. That was the AD that we expected to be pretty much the #1 go-to.
Yeah, and I think Varus, there is a reason Varus is so highly sought after for the same reason that Ziggs is. He's an AD carry that can 2v1 bot lane. He can clear waves with very little threat and just be able to be safe under tower. And what that does is it unlocks your support. The meta right now, I think, is going to be very support roam heavy. And I think by having Varus, you have a safe AD carry who can 2v1, and also an AD carry that has a lot of good teamfight presence, a lot of good poke. You have to have something to counter that Ziggs pokes a little bit too. So I like that Varus pickup. I think it's one of the best responses you could potentially have into Ziggs. But look at this though, Zed already locked in. Jarvan coming through as well. Jarvan giving you an immediate form of engage. Zed is a good counter pick into Varus because Varus has very low mobility. So if you can lock him down, he's quite an easy target for Zed to lock off. We have the Darius and the Graves coming through though. So very short range, brawl heavy team fight coming through from SBTC right now. I'm really interested to see how they round this comp out because it feels a little dangerous now with Varus being the primary threat. But we'll see how it goes.
Well, if you're new to Wildrift or joining us from another scene, and welcome to start with. This is looking to be an explosive game. It's something we know about certainly these two regions is they are very aggressive. And looking at these team comps right now, this is very much all in. The Jax getting locked in as well alongside the Jarvan, the Zed, and the Ziggs. I mean, that is an explosive combo.
Yeah, I mean, given that we have about 4 Baron lane bans here, you are whittling down that Baron lane champion pool. There it is, the very roam-heavy supports that we're expecting to see, the Rakan coming through. That does confirm, obviously, that Ziggs will be going into that AD carry position, so we have a bot lane Ziggs. I'm expecting to see a lot of 1v1 Ziggs versus Varus, where we see a lot of Rakan roams and a lot of Braum roams to contest at these neutral objectives. The Diana is the final lock-in here. Very anti-melee comp coming through from SBTC. They are intending to deal with the Jax, the Jarvan, and the Zed by having a very strong anti-melee comp, like Braum, good anti-melee, Diana, great anti-melee, Darius, one of the best anti-melee champions in the game. They're expecting, if a full-on teamfight breaks out, that they'll be able to deal swiftly with the melee threats, and then Ziggs will be left exposed, allowing them to follow up easily with the Diana. Whereas DKG, I think, D-Man, they are looking to say, well, we don't really want all-out team fights here. Obviously we can do later in the game when Ziggs gets a lot stronger, but we are looking to utilize the 1-3-1 or the split push pressure that Jax and Zed are going to provide us, and we're looking for smaller skirmishes facilitated by heavy roaming from the Rakan, and obviously with Jarvan with his great engage. So I think DKG will want to play away from teamfights this game, at least in the early game for sure. They'll be looking for smaller skirmishes. Whereas if you're SBTC, very anti-melee comp, you're looking to get those 5v5s and dominate Jarvan, Zed, and even Rakan, but then you can turn your focus onto the likes of the Ziggs.
As the switches we're expecting to see, as you mentioned, the Ziggs as the carry lane down in the bottom. I expect to see the Jarvan going jungle. We haven't seen Quiver switching over to the Jax yet, but we'll see when that gets into the game. I'm just expecting that to be where it goes. Yes. So if you just joined us, welcome. This is going to be an absolute banger of a match. Two of the top teams coming out of China and Southeast Asia going at it. And if you've never watched Wildrift before, this is generally a pretty fast-paced action. I expect this one to be very fast-paced. I'm not going to lie. This best-of-3 series, best-of-3 in the groups, of course, throughout. And this, really, with two of the favorites, both still, regardless of result, probably expected to go through in the groups, regardless of who comes out on top here. But this is a real, I would say, a mental edge for whoever comes out in top of this, because these teams are almost certain to face each other later in the competition.
I'm really excited to see this game, honestly, D-Man. I think it is, two of the strongest regions that we have here, but as you've mentioned, two of the strongest teams. We are on to the Rift. It looks like it's Jax jungle for Hueba. So he's going to be playing Jax jungle this time round. So instead we have Jarvan top lane. I like that because the Darius-Jax matchup is really bad for Jax, whereas the Darius-Jarvan matchup is a little easier for Jarvan because you just slap him with your Dragon Strike over and over again, right? Very interesting, though. It's going to be two very different styles of fights and different styles of playing the game between DKG. But look at this aggressive play from Wind in the laning phase already here. You've seen Emo go for his first ability as that first level up. They're just looking to poke out as much as possible, abuse that melee support as best they can, and don't allow Varus and Braum to establish themselves in the lane.
Setting Huiber up to get going. The jungle path is where we're expecting to go. If you guys at home are watching, though, do get yourself linked in with your Wildrift accounts and Amazon. Get yourself that Prime Gaming random skin drops. Thank you very much to Prime Gaming for that, the November drops. What did you get? What did you get, Kiernan? I know you did it just before. Did you not open it?
I didn't unlock it, mate.
No,
I didn't unlock it. I know. It's a sad one, but I did see that our boy Drago's got a Malphite skin, which I didn't think he was particularly happy about. But do you know what? I think we take free skins when we get them. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm hoping though. I'm a support main, so I'm hoping I at least get a support champion. You know.
Yeah, everybody in chat spamming my drop. You gotta be patient, guys. It's all linked. Get yourself your Prime Gaming on there. Ignite being used already. That was an all-in from YK. The flash burned as well to try and get everything in there. The barrier for Unero saving him out though. Aquino down the bottom. They're getting very aggressive. Wind still has a decent amount of mana, and here comes Weaver. Weaver around the side. That is an aggressive jump. Immediate exhaust. Did he try and bait it out? There is a minion conga line coming in. Weaver goes in. The exhaust goes down once again. It should be the full tower dive. They're juggling the aggro really well, but they do not net themselves a kill.
Oh, it just feels like a bit of nerves from these guys, like some mis-execution on that tower dive. You can see that TF is going to take this example and say, well, do you know what? I've just seen Jack show bot. I'm going to make an invite onto that blue side jungle and steal things away. And now he's level 5. So is Unero. And YK saw it coming a mile away. Back straight out from this.
He's got help. Got support in there. Obviously, just used that flag and drag to get away. So not able to use it as the knock-up. Did have that Tribush ward, which gave YK the early presence notice. And I guess that's a simple case of communication from the bot lane saying we've shown ourselves, we know it's coming, so expect a gank top. So really well read. Both teams reading into this one perfectly at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit nerves though. I think that's expected, right?
First game of the tournament, it's always the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Your first game in a live environment, your first game on stage. Just got to settle into the vibes a bit, you know, make sure you're in a good spot. DKG, though, having a great time on bot. I mean, Kirel and Kano, they've been forced back into the tower. They've burnt all their summoners already. So this is actually a good spot for DKG to play around a dragon take. You know, the dragon's coming up in around 45 seconds. So DKG now will want to just utilize that bot lane priority that they've got and try and play around that as their objective. They'll always be able to shove in Kirel and Akano very early on, and then they can make that rotate over to jungle. So it feels like you've got to play around your strong side of the map here. Your strong side is the bot lane, and it just feels like a little bit YK is on wave clear duty and just playing a bit of, you know, weak side versus Darius right now.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be all down to the objectives. Rift Herald and Dragon. Who favors what? We've seen a lot of teams going for that Rift Herald first, especially based on the Drake. But it is going to be a Mountain Drake first, which is a pretty decent one overall. So I think, yeah, I'm already seeing, you can see the support's already trying to get a position, the sweeping starting. And there's the Dragon. Everybody back, everybody by. We're about ready to rumble in a few minutes.
Yeah, if I were SBTC, I'd probably be looking to try and focus down the Rift Herald. I think that's a much more useful first objective compared to the Mountain Dragon. It can allow you to snowball the game, can allow you to open up one of the towers on the map, and especially versus the Ziggs, you don't allow Ziggs to get time on turrets. You want to put him on the back foot where you can, and I think Rift Herald will allow you to do that. It does look like, though, the teams are gearing up heavy vision control around the Dragon. Both teams right now trying to focus down that area of the map, and you can see the TF making his way in towards that mid lane. Interesting one. No teams have made the early attempt at the objectives right now, and that to me just makes me think that they're respecting each other very heavily when it comes to dealing with fights around these objectives.
Well, certainly for DKG, they've obviously got that double knockup potential with the Grand Challenge coming out from the Rakan, the flag and drag from YK to try and get that initial engagement set up. It is going to be a trade in the end, a simple sort of a passive agreement, effectively, if you were. You take that, we take that. That means the Rift Herald may well get dropped in the top lane. There are 3 stacking up there, so we may see an early Rift Herald, or whether they're just going to save it for later for that mid.
They don't need to use it. They have jacks from that tower. They'll be able to get that really easily.
Got him. Got him. First blood comes into the tournament. It was a pretty well done job there, but you actually work it out very well. And finally, first blood comes through.
Yeah, Yo just essentially punished TF for overstaying around the Dragon there. He knows that he can't really find an easy kind of kill on July. Diana is a relatively good answer into Zed. Let's take a look back here. TF just finishing off the Dragon by himself. Doesn't clear out the ward. overstep, take a full combo, and that is it. Like, you take the full combo from the Z, and Yo just picks his moment, jumps over back to his clone, finds that ultimate engage onto TF. Just a bit greedy from TF, honestly. Just a bit greedy to go for that ward when he didn't really need to go for it.
Yeah, no reason to get in there. And Yo ready. Well, Emo's just going to step away from that one. Weaver's being chased here. Julie's going to try and commit for it. Yo, sorry, was there. It's going to be a 3v3 engage here. The rest of the team are collapsing. This is going to be a full-on team fight. Here we go. SBTC fancy a bit of this, but they realise the backup is coming. It doesn't matter when they pick up the Rakan so quickly. Emo goes down. The DKG realise this is a fight they cannot win.
I really think DKG need to play away from these full 5v5 team fights. You're playing into such a good anti-melee comp. Like, even if Rakan finds the engage, there are so many ways to shut him down. The Braum stun, the Diana ultimate. You know, you can throw the smoke screen on everybody in melee range, and it makes it very difficult to play these team fights out. DKG have got really strong side lane presence, and, you know, those smaller skirmishes were like Yo's able to pick up a single member. We'll take a look back here. This is just, again, Quaver just over-engaging. And I think Emo just left out by himself, gets drawn back into the fight, pulled back in by the Diana. There's nothing he could do there. Obviously, there was a man advantage for SBTC at this point, and I think YK hadn't even made his way over, but I think at the end of the day, just a little bit too much. And what I like what I'm seeing right now from DKG. They are much more willing to play around the side lane, utilizing their side lane pressure, and you can see it here. And also because they have the Ziggs, he's always going to be threatening towers by himself. So you can't exactly deal with this massive split push side lane pressure easily, because if you do, Ziggs is going to take a tower for himself anyway. So this is the way that I want to see DKG play. I don't want to see them get baited into what is going to be favorable 5v5 team fights for SBTC.
Focus the objectives. Seems to be working so far. 2-0 in terms of turrets. That turret pressure remaining. Mid turret tier 1 only one remaining. Everybody just popping back to buy, just buying themselves a few moments here. Just getting themselves settled down. It is just a small 2,000 gold lead. Could be snowball out of control if they're not careful, but they know that money is still banked in the turrets if and when they can get them. And I do say that because there really isn't much damage on those outer turrets yet.
No, but all it takes is one good team fight, right? And especially with the next dragon being Infernal, this is prime opportunity for SBTC to do something. Now, obviously, the Rift Herald is spawning relatively soon as well. It depends whether DKG are willing to make a trade for Infernal, saying, well, do you know what? We don't care. Like, Infernal is a small boost, obviously, but we think we can win without it. I think if they get baited into going for the Infernal fight, that's where SBTC can strike. As I said, I think they have the better 5v5 team fight into the heavy melee comp. I don't think Wind has got enough items to be a true ranged threat carry by himself right now. So I think if SBTC can establish dominance, especially vision dominance, around this Infernal Dragon, and they pull DKG in, I think that's a good opportunity for SBTC to do something here, and that's what I want to see them do. Although I will say they haven't set up for it particularly well. Darius is still on the top side of the map here.
One problem that they do have is obviously they do get set up in a siege position at the moment as they try to position. You can see SBTC desperate to try and get a pick. Infernal now up. Weaver's still up in the top there at the moment, just getting the Rift Herald down. Gets it just before the Baron will come back up. YK is going to commit to this, goes in, tries to get them locked down. Is he going to be able to try and focus some target? Evo will get dumped out there. Weaver finally arrives, but way too late to the party. Should be able to get one trading back, but it's a 2-for-1 so far. The top laner and carry. I would question the timing of the engagement there.
D-Man, we literally just talked about it. I'm going to talk about it after the replay because I'm going to take a look back here. I understand the thinking from DKG. You've taken Rift Herald, you've delayed them on Infernal, make the engage, maybe you can get a 2-for-1. Maybe you get both objectives because they're tanking the dragon for you. But it is just greedy. You're way too split up, and you correctly mentioned the timing of the engage wasn't exactly there for DKG because obviously Quaver was way too far away. And again, we just mentioned it. The team fight is better from SBTC. You have a really good anti-melee comp. YK and Yo just got eaten alive. Not Yo, sorry. Emo got eaten alive. YK and Emo got eaten alive in that fight by the Darius. That is what Yunero wants you to do. He wants you to sit on top of him so he can build stacks and dunk you. And he did the exact thing in that team fight.
The thing is for YK, I mean, he's not tanky yet. So obviously to go in and commit like that, he is going to get focused and burned down very quickly. And that's exactly what we just saw there. And now SBTC want to take the bull by the horns. They're looking for more engagements. They're thinking if DKG are willing to keep trying to work into these fights, we could try and punish, because they know they've got to deal with that split push, and that's what's happening. TF was the focus there. Airborne they go, but he's not going to catch him down. Judy is going to get wind down. Meanwhile, on the side, you can see Yozin also to trouble as well. He has to run for his life. TF will be picked off, so at a moment of 1-for-1, and the foot race for Yo will work out. He gets out alive. But again, this is all SBTC. They want these fights. And they're going to get them because Weaver's come in. And that is going to be an easy pickup. Aquino caught napping there. Hadn't realized he'd left that top lane. We're not done yet. We're going to see Yo going in for Julie here. Julie just going to try and keep him. Bone gets him down. Should be getting about to get the moonfall off, but will just back away into the turret there. A tight engagement. Maybe a sign of things to come there from the two mid laners.
This is really, really tense right now. Let's take a look back at this fight. What happens is obviously YK finds the engagement with TF. He's like, okay, we're going to catch TF out here. We have a really great engagement with Yosin from the side lane, but they leave Wind completely alone. And 3v1, Julie picks up that kill onto the Ziggs. You always have to be a little careful about that. I like what Kano tried to do here, but it was just he was a little bit slow to pull the trigger on the flash. I think he was looking for the perfect opportunity, and by the time he did, Yo already had that shadow to jump to and was able to get out. But I've got to be honest with you, I think those kind of smaller skirmishes is what DKG want to look for. If they get sucked into a 5v5 when the Darius is there, that's the problem that they're going to have. If they can force a fight away from the Darius, then clearly you're going to be in a much better spot. Also love what Huiba's doing here. This is exactly what you want the Jax to do. He's got 3 items, 11,500 gold, by the way. He's just turbo split pushing. This is what you want from a Jax. Huiba knows exactly where to put the pressure on the map, and it just gets melted. And you can see now, they're actually collapsing on him, onto that Braum who doesn't have the flash available. They're going to go in.
The count, there's a double fight. They've got ton of fights around the red bar. Fights down here. Julie is going to get focused in. Stasis comes down. Will come out alive. The turret will juggle in the end to Kirill. And Julie gets out, but meanwhile that was happening, they did manage to get Aquino down in the jungle by the red buff, and Huiba, he is becoming an unstoppable beast.
I love the way they are making this Jax work. When you pick a Jax, there is one thing that he can do well, and it's this. He literally just sits in the side lane and takes towers. And something that we saw at the Origins series, right? When we were trying to see split pushing come through, this was just a really nice catch. It was a good collapse into Faber there, and I love that they were willing to make that play. But when you see a side laner play a split push strategy, they have to be willing to go for the 1v1s. They have to be willing to try and fight and engage and take and take someone down and force more resources to be committed to them when they're pushing the side lane. That's what Huiba is willing to do, and I love it, because that's exactly what you need to do in Wildrift. You can't just be a passive split pusher. You need to be much more active in the way that you engage. But we potentially have a fight here around the Dragon.
Definitely one they want to fight for. SBTC, look at YK going in. Yo goes in around the side. Cloud Drake does go down immediately, but this is looking very good for the Chinese team as DKG look to clean up. Yunero's got nowhere to go. He's going to try and chase Yo down, but will not be able to pick it up. It is a rampage in Huiba as he romps through the team. TF, the last man to get out alive, and DKG are looking at absolute cleanup duty here at Scoundrel. Let's have a look at the actual replay for that one, because the Baron is going to be picked up by the Chinese team.
Yeah, I think at this point, they have just got so much gold into Huiba, and he is so powerful in his own right. You can see that, SBTC feel like they need to go for the engage, but their team comp works a lot worse when they are not the ones being set up on the objective. They are split up here. Darius can't get multi-man decimated. He can't get stack built up on multiple members. Huiba knows exactly who the threat is, sticks on that Darius, and takes him down very early on into the fight, or at least tries to. And then I think, realistically, it is just Huiba carrying the fight from the backline. He's too strong, he can't be dealt with, and if Darius is not there to try and slow him down from the very start, I think he's going to run away. And I think at this point, you've got a 15k Jax, almost completed, like 6-item build. I think this is basically out the window right now for SBTC. This might be looking at the next game.
There's a few champions that you learn as you're trying to pick up the games. Jax being one of them when you're going through the levels, and everybody's come up against that massively fed Jax. It is a unstoppable machine when it gets going. It will wreck champions, it will wreck towers, it will wreck everything. And they are committing a little heavy here onto the tower. But you know what? They're getting away with it. Yanero goes down. Weaver is an absolute monster. That was an absolute epic engagement from YK. And that is going to be game one, ladies and gentlemen. Just like that. 15-minute game in the book, 16-minute pickup. DK